Valeriy Zaluzhny, Ukraine's former commander-in-chief and now ambassador to the UK, has unleashed a blistering critique of Ukraine's military command structure. In a detailed article published on Military, Zaluzhny exposes deep-rooted structural failures in the Ukrainian Armed Forces, UAF, and indirectly rebukes President Volodymyr Zelensky and NATO for policies that, he warns, risk Ukraine's survival.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now seen as a potential political rival to Zelensky, even named by Putin as a possible successor, Zaluzhny's words carry both military and political weight. In his article titled "On the Organization of the Management System in the Armed Forces of Ukraine," Zaluzhny outlines how Ukraine's centralized and outdated military command system remains unfit for the demands of modern war. He warns,
"The outbreak of war created a new reality, a reality that requires, at the very least, a deeper understanding of the nature and history of war itself."
Zaluzhny describes how Ukraine inherited a bloated Soviet-era military, 780,000 troops and 21 divisions, but failed to modernize it. He writes,
"It was still a fully Soviet army in structure and spirit, despite having a different name and emblem. It remained unfit for modern combat."
Essentially calling out successive governments, including Zelensky's, prioritized budgets over battle readiness. He also said that Ukraine army was underfunded and neglected even as war loomed.
"We were essentially a Soviet army in Ukrainian camouflage. We retained everything outdated while discarding what was valuable without understanding what was truly necessary."
Zaluzhny critiques NATO-driven reforms like the 2019 Ministry of Defense Order No. 141, aimed at introducing joint command systems. These efforts, he says, lacked substance.
"Doctrinal documents and standards borrowed from other armies, which do not face the same kind of warfare, turned out to be impractical for us."
He argues many of these reforms were designed for peacetime efficiency, not total war. When Russia invaded, the command structure collapsed. There was no corps-level coordination, which bureaucrats under Zelensky dismissed as Soviet relics. Zaluzhny reveals,
By summer 2022, 24 operational-level management bodies existed, but they lacked at least 18 properly trained command structures. This led to command burnout and confusion at the front.
Zaluzhny slams the failure to digitize and modernize warfare. The absence of automated systems left commanders relying on personal initiative. He cites the stalled integration of Kropiva software and the lack of strategic-level intelligence as major failures.
The absence of automated control systems at operational and strategic levels meant that the result depended entirely on the abilities, knowledge, and endurance of individual officers.
He draws parallels to Soviet errors in World War II, particularly the decision to disband corps-level commands, only to urgently rebuild them mid-war. He accuses today's leaders of ignoring these historical lessons. Quoting a Soviet military text, Zaluzhny notes,
"Combat realities forced the reintroduction of corps-level commands. Efforts to improve the command structure were not without mistakes."
Zaluzhny initiated the creation of the 9th and 10th Corps, with support from the US and UK, part of a proposed Corps Division Brigade structure, but political will fizzled.
The process stalled. Initiatives remained on paper. The lack of civilian satellite intelligence and real-time situational awareness left our command blind.
Zaluzhny calls for permanent, battle-capable command structures, a modern automated warfare system, and a reimagined officer corps trained to lead, not just follow. He advocates decentralization, empowering field officers to make real-time decisions over rigid central control.
Victory on tomorrow's battlefield depends entirely on how well today's command structures are trained and prepared.
Zaluzhny sharply questions NATO's relevance to Ukraine's war. He writes,
Expeditionary doctrines and headquarters-focused structures of NATO armies turned out to be irrelevant. They were designed for low-intensity conflicts, not the grinding, high-intensity war Ukraine faces. The success of future command structures will rest on intellectual strength, depth of foresight, originality of design, and flexibility.
Zaluzhny's article is more than a critique. It's a blueprint for reform under fire. His warning is clear. Ukraine risks losing not just the war, but its ability to fight, unless its military command evolves immediately. Now stationed in London and eyed by some as a political alternative to Zelensky, Zaluzhny's vision may shape not just Ukraine's military, but its future leadership.